My brother erased me from family photos, so I gave him a viral lesson he'll never forget. Hey Reddit, throw away for obvious reasons. 26F. Never thought I'd be posting here, but here we are. This whole saga with my brother, Ryan, 28M, has my head spinning, and honestly, I need some outside perspective. For as long as I can remember, Ryan and I have had this weird rivalry that no one in the family wanted to admit existed. You know those families where one kid is always the golden child? That's Ryan. I was the responsible one, the fixer, the kid they could count on to not cause drama. Except I was also invisible when it came to family stories, celebrations, or even just casual conversations. Growing up, Ryan was the star quarterback, prom king, the guy with a million friends and even more trophies. Mom and dad doted on him, his wins, his college acceptances, all while I watched from the sidelines, quietly collecting straight A's and helping in the background. It never felt like they hated me, just that I was never the headline. I didn't realize how deep that cut until recently. The cracks really started showing at our cousin's wedding last year. Ryan was glued to our parents, surrounded by relatives, basking in attention. I spent most of the reception with the bartender and my younger cousin, Alex, joking about being the B-list siblings. I laughed it off, but something about the dynamic nagged at me for months. Little did I know, things were about to get so much worse, and way more personal. I wish I could say I was prepared for what I found. But the truth is, nothing prepares you for the moment you realize you're being erased, literally, from your own family's memories. A few weeks after the wedding, my mom sent out a link to a shared family album, hundreds of photos from the event, everything from posed group shots to blurry dance floor candidates. I clicked through, expecting the usual awkward smiles and maybe a few surprise good pics. At first, nothing seemed off. Then, scrolling through the big family group shots, I realized I wasn't in any of them. At first, I thought maybe I just missed the group photos, maybe I was in the bathroom, maybe grabbing a drink. But no, I remembered standing right there between Ryan and our aunt for at least 2 of those pictures. Yet, there was Ryan, smiling wide, arm around thin air. Where I should have been. It wasn't just 1 or 2 shots either. It was every single group photo. Confused, I zoomed in. The edges were blurry, awkward, like someone had clumsily edited me out. My dress, which was bright yellow, so not subtle, seemed to vanish into the background. It was surreal. I scrolled faster, heart pounding, and suddenly found a candid of me talking to Alex at the bar. My face was blurred out, as if I was some random wedding crasher, not his actual sister. It felt like getting the wind knocked out of me. Was this a mistake? Some kind of sick joke? I texted Alex, who was as stunned as I was. But when I finally asked my mom, she said she had no idea, and then, almost as an afterthought, added, "Oh, Ryan offered to clean up the photos before uploading. He's good at that stuff, you know." That was the first time I realized how easy it is for someone to erase you, not just emotionally, but digitally. And Ryan? He just made it official. I confronted Ryan the next day. I kept it casual at first. "Hey, I saw the wedding pics. Looks like I'm not in any of them. Weird, right?" He smirked, barely looking up from his phone. "Oh, must have been a glitch," he shrugged. "Maybe you just weren't there for those shots." Classic Ryan. Never taking anything seriously, always making me question my own reality. But I pushed. "Ryan, I remember standing right next to you. My arm was literally around your waist in one." He finally glanced up, that lazy, infuriating smile on his face. "Maybe you're just misremembering. It's not a big deal." He winked, as if we were sharing some inside joke. Only it wasn't funny. I started doubting myself. Was I overreacting? Did I somehow make this up? But Alex confirmed. He remembered me being in those photos too, and even noticed my weird absence in the album. I tried bringing it up with my parents, but Mom waved it off. Ryan just wanted the best photos. "Maybe you weren't looking your best, honey. Don't take it personally." I felt myself shrinking. Every time I tried to bring it up, it was dismissed, by Ryan, by my parents, even by some relatives who barely noticed. "You're just sensitive," my dad said. Ryan's always been the techie one. He probably just made a mistake. It was like screaming into a void. The more I pushed, the more invisible I felt. And the more invisible I felt, the angrier I became. I wasn't just being erased from photos. I was being erased from my own family's narrative. That's when something snapped in me. If Ryan wanted to play games, I was done playing the invisible sister. It was time to remind everyone I existed, loudly. For a while, I sulked. Not my proudest chapter, but honestly, it hurt. The idea that my own brother went out of his way to cut me out, then gaslit me about it, felt like a knife twist I couldn't shake. But then, scrolling through social media, inspiration struck. If Ryan wanted to erase me digitally, maybe it was time I used the digital world to fight back. Late one night, I messaged Alex. We swapped ideas, half joking at first, but the more we schemed, the more energized I felt. What if I took the erase sibling trope and flipped it on its head? Made it a meme? Maybe even made it go viral? After all, if my family was determined to act like I didn't exist, why not take their logic to the extreme? Alex was all in. He's got a decent TikTok following and a wicked sense of humor. We started digging up old family photos, birthdays, graduations, vacations, and I noticed a pattern. In nearly every official photo Ryan had edited or posted in the last 2 years, I'd been cropped, blurred, or conveniently forgotten. It wasn't just the wedding. It was a habit. I decided to make a short video. The concept was simple. POV. You're the sibling your family tries to erase. I overlaid shots of me being cut out, with increasingly dramatic music and fake captions like, if you squint, you can almost see my ghost. Alex added in ridiculous effects, a fade to nothing, a Where's Waldo frame with me barely visible in the corner, sad violin music. We laughed until we cried, but under the laughter was something sharp. It felt cathartic. That's when I realized I wasn't just plotting revenge. I was reclaiming my place, one viral post at a time. We posted the TikTok late on a Friday night, thinking maybe a few of Alex's friends would get a kick out of it. I added a caption, when your brother edits you out of family history so you become your own main character. I expected a handful of likes, maybe a funny comment or two. Instead, I woke up to a phone blowing up with notifications. The video hit a nerve. Hundreds, then thousands, of people commented, sharing their own erased sibling stories or just tagging friends with a laughing emoji. The algorithm worked its magic. By lunchtime, the video was at 200K views. People stitched it, duetted it, made jokes about how I was the real MVP for surviving such blatant digital assassination. Some even created #ErasedByFamily memes, adding their own photos where they'd been cropped or forgotten. A few called out the obvious sibling rivalry. Others, more seriously, talked about feeling unseen in their own families. It became a kind of therapy session, part roast, part group hug. I laughed, but reading those comments, it made me realize how many people felt invisible just like I did. Then, the local news DM'd Alex asking if I'd talk about the viral invisible sibling trend. Brands were commenting. Some of Ryan's friends started tagging him, sending him clips with, "Dude, is this your sister?" The joke was officially bigger than just our family. That's when my parents noticed. And Ryan, well, let's just say he did not find it nearly as funny as the internet did. The family group chat exploded. And for the first time, all eyes were actually on me. By Saturday night, the family group chat was pure chaos. My aunt sent a flush face emoji. Mom called me twice. Dad texted, "Can you please take the video down before this gets out of hand?" Even Grandma, who still signs her texts, "Love, Nana," asked if I was okay. But the most surprising reaction came from Ryan. He messaged me privately. "What the hell is this? You made me look like a psycho to half the internet." For the first time in ages, he sounded rattled. Not angry exactly. More like cornered. I didn't reply right away. I needed a second to figure out how I actually felt. Part of me wanted to gloat. Finally, he was feeling what it was like to be exposed, to be the center of a story he couldn't control. Instead, I called him. There was a long silence before he finally muttered, "You could have just talked to me." I let out a laugh, not bitter but tired. "I did talk to you, Ryan. You didn't listen. Nobody did." He sighed, the bravado gone. "You made your point. The whole family's freaking out." I told him, maybe now they'll finally see me. It wasn't a magical fix. He didn't apologize yet. But he sounded different. Smaller. Less sure of himself. Meanwhile, my phone kept pinging. Old friends, random classmates, even my boss DM'd, "Saw your TikTok." Iconic. The best part? Dozens of people messaged to say the video made them feel less alone. I'd gone from invisible to internet relatable, and it felt powerful, even if my family was spinning. For the first time in my life, I was the headline. The days after my video went viral were weird. At work, coworkers whispered about my famous TikTok. Even people I hadn't talked to in years reached out. I got tagged in memes about family photo crop victims, and someone even made a parody where a cat got erased from a litter photo. I couldn't help but laugh. Finally, my pain was a punchline, but on my terms. But back home, things were tense. My parents held a mini intervention over Zoom. Mom tearfully said she had no idea. It hurt so much that she thought Ryan was just being playful. Dad tried to downplay it. You know how siblings are, but I shut him down. No, Dad. Editing someone out isn't a prank. It's erasing them. Ryan stayed quiet through most of it. I could see him avoiding my eyes, fiddling with his phone. Finally, after a long, awkward silence, he spoke. I guess I didn't realize how much it bothered you, or how obvious it was. Not exactly a heartfelt apology, but it was the closest I'd ever gotten. Extended family started chiming in too. My cousin messaged, I always wondered why you weren't in half the pics. I'm sorry I didn't say anything. Alex, of course, was still my hype man, sending me screenshots of support from total strangers. Even Grandma sent a text. You've always belonged, sweetheart. Don't let anyone erase that. It wasn't all sunshine. Some relatives thought I took it too far. But mostly, people were talking about invisibility, about family, about boundaries. My story had sparked something bigger. And for the first time, I felt like maybe I was finally being seen. The dust eventually settled, but the ripples kept going. Ryan, who used to walk around with unshakable confidence, got quieter at family gatherings. At first, I thought he was sulking. Then, at our cousin's birthday, he pulled me aside, out of earshot from everyone else. Look, he started, rubbing the back of his neck. I know what I did was messed up. I thought it was funny. Or maybe I just wanted the spotlight. I don't know. But I'm sorry. Really. For once, he sounded like he meant it. The old, defensive Ryan was gone, replaced by someone a little humbled. I didn't let him off easy. You know it wasn't just a joke, right? You made me feel like I didn't matter. Like I was only part of the family when you decided. He nodded, eyes on the floor. Yeah, I get that now. I'm sorry. It wasn't a magic fix. Things didn't just snap back to perfect. But it was real. And that was enough for me. My parents tried harder, too. They started sending unedited photos, tagging me in old memories, even asking if I wanted to help organize the next family event. I could tell they were trying. It wasn't perfect, but for once, I felt like a full participant in my own story, not just a footnote. Online, the video kept making the rounds. Articles, reaction videos, even a spot on a podcast about sibling rivalry. People from all over shared their own stories of being erased or overlooked. It made the sting of my family's exclusion feel smaller. I was part of something bigger than just my own pain. And Ryan? He started including me, actually inviting, not just tolerating. Maybe it took going viral for my family to finally see me. But hey, I'll take it. In the weeks that followed, things felt different. For the first time in years, I looked forward to family group chats, not dreading what I'd find or not find there. My parents started making an effort, asking for my input, sending me old photos with a "Look, you are here" note attached. It was sweet, if a little overcorrected, but I appreciated it. Ryan and I had more real conversations, awkward at first, but gradually honest. We started joking about my invisible sibling superpower, and he even invited me to help edit a new batch of family photos, making sure I was front and center in each one. It was the smallest thing, but it mattered. Even Alex noticed. You know, he said one night, I think you broke the family curse. We laughed, but there was truth in it. For so long, I let myself be edited out, not just of photos, but of stories, plans, and side jokes. This whole viral chaos forced me, and everyone else, to look at it head on. There were still rough moments. Some relatives grumbled that I'd aired dirty laundry, and Ryan still had his egotistical days. But mostly, things got better. I reconnected with old friends who'd reached out because of the video. Even strangers messaged to say the story helped them stand up for themselves. I realized belonging isn't something handed to you. It's something you claim, sometimes loudly, sometimes with a meme, sometimes with a hard conversation. My family isn't perfect, but neither am I. We're messy, complicated, sometimes ridiculous. But now, at least, I know I'm in the picture. If you're reading this and see yourself in my story, here's what I wish someone had told me sooner. You are not invisible, and you do not have to accept being edited out of photos, of memories, or of your own family. Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones most likely to overlook us, intentionally or not. That doesn't make your feelings any less real. I learned the hard way that waiting for someone else to validate your place is a losing game. Speak up. Find your allies, even if it's just one cousin with a good sense of humor and a TikTok account. Your story matters, even if you have to make a little noise to prove it. Standing up for yourself might feel risky or even petty at first, but I promise, the relief of finally being seen is worth the chaos. Maybe you'll inspire someone else to claim their own space, too. And if you have a sibling like Ryan, don't let their spotlight dim yours. Sometimes the best revenge is reminding the world you exist and doing it with a smile. Family is messy and healing isn't instant, but you deserve to be in the picture, literally and figuratively. Take care, Reddit. And if you ever see someone missing from the family album, don't be afraid to ask where they went. Sometimes, that's all it takes to bring someone back into focus.